checking the forecast, things looking crazy. A storm on the horizon, the pressure is low. Gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, we're stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling, you see. Prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up, we're ready to go. EMA, let's get this show on the road.
Let's pick this can right now. Let's do this, guys. This is Emergency Management Associates, and we are on the air with you right now. This is Ron Tyler with EMA. We're coming to you from the studios and offices at EMA headquarters, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. Welcome to our program, guys. We're glad to have you here. Now, guys, I'm going to ask this question right now. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you prepared? If not, why not? If not, why not? Okay? First off, I want to talk about some things that have happened over in Spain during the last 48, 72 hours. Okay? I'm not joking. I'm not joking at all. Not one little bit. Okay? I don't joke about these things. I do not joke about preparedness. I don't joke about people's lives. I want to make that very clear. I do not joke about anyone's lives. Okay? You may think that Ron's blowing steam. Ron doesn't know what he's talking about. Ron's out there. Ron is not out there at all. I'm not out there at all. Okay? About 72 hours ago, the King of Morocco let the gates open from their prisons. They let the gates open from their prisons. Those prisoners now, guys, have invaded Spain. They have invaded Spain, guys. I'm telling you this right now. Need to be very much aware of this, guys. This is important for everybody's safety. Not just the people in Spain right now, but the people here in the United States and all over the world. literally all over the world. These guys have come across by boat. They've come across by land from Morocco directly on a small bit of land around the Strait of Gibraltar. They come into Spain and they've invaded Spain. Okay? These people are Islam. These people are Islamic. And I'm not joking about this. We've thought that we've had some problems with Islam here in the United States and over in Britain. Guess what? It's got exponentially worse now. Okay? How's it gotten worse, Ron? Well, guess what? If these people are in Spain right now, they're on the way to Britain to back up the Islamic people in Britain, and they're also on the way to the United States of America. Okay? They said they're going to take over the United States of America. They've been in France already. Okay? They've taken over France. Now they're going over to Britain. They've taken over Britain. They're going over to reoccupy Britain as well because the British authorities have clamped down on the Islamic people over in England and Britain specifically. But they think they are endangered in Britain, and now they're going to send reinforcements to Britain as well through the English Channel and through boats going over from Spain into England, from France into England. I'm not kidding, guys. I'm not joking at all. Okay? Today, over in New York, guys, ICE was cracking down on Islamic people selling counterfeit goods and goods that are not supposed to be sold in the United States or even in New York. ICE cracked down on those guys. It took New York City Police Department to go in there and back up ICE because all of a sudden the Islamic people and these leftists that Mary Mamdani has put out there were attacking ICE. New York City police were out there on the front lines with ICE, arresting these people and taking them into custody. Okay? This is a present problem. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. Okay? Now, with that said, excuse me, sorry about that. I've taken some allergy medication already, so I should be fine. Like I wasn't fine yesterday. I had some coughing episodes because stuff drained down my throat, but that's not materially right now important. What I am telling you now is, this is vitally important for each one of us. Okay? Each one of us. I'm not joking here. I'm not joking at all. I want to talk first about earthquakes before we get into this any further. Okay? I'm going to bring up the USGS map here. If you just give me just a second here, I'm going to take down our EMA banner. I'm going to take down a webcam. I'm going to expand the USGS map to include not just the Philippines here that you see, but I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. Okay? As we've said before, USGS has not even shown all the earthquakes. There are nearly 70 earthquakes here in Indonesia. They're showing 2. They're showing 2 here in Indonesia. One off the northwest shore of Sumatra, Indonesia. This is a 5.0 earthquake here. A 5.0 earthquake here. Over here, Mohoki, MASOHI, Indonesia. This is a 5.2 magnitude earthquake. A large 5.2 magnitude earthquake. Okay? I want to go over here. Yesterday I told you about earthquakes over in Fiji and Tonga. They continue happening, guys. I told you there were over 16 earthquakes in the past 72 hours yesterday in the Fiji-Tonga region. 5.0 earthquakes, I said. Over here in Fiji today, not a 5.0, but a 4.5 moderate earthquake. Okay, this was a deep earthquake, 581 kilometers deep. 581 kilometers deep. A deep earthquake. Now, guys, I'm going to take this USGS map down for just a minute. I want to show you the depth to magnitude conversion chart here. The depth to the magnitude conversion chart here. 581 kilometers deep. You see here in the fourth column from the left? Okay, look at it. Look at it, guys. We're going to add a 1.18 to the magnitude of this earthquake. 1.18 to the magnitude of this earthquake. That's why deep earthquakes are dangerous. This is why deep earthquakes are dangerous, guys. I'm not kidding. I don't kid about this. I don't kid about this at all. 4.5 earthquake. We're going to add a 1.8 to the magnitude of this earthquake, which is going to make the corresponding earthquake that's going to happen within the next 3 to 10 days to be a 6.3 earthquake. A 6.3 earthquake is going to occur either in this region of Fiji, Tonga area, or even further south down here into New Zealand, over here in Fiji, over here in Vanuatu, or further to the southwest over here in the Legacy Islands of New Caledonia, over here into the Solomon Islands here, or maybe even further to the west over here in Papua New Guinea. 6.3 earthquake. A strong 6.3 earthquake is inbound within the next 3 to 10 days. Not just that. Today, guys, I told you yesterday, we had 5 new solar flares that erupted on the sun, and they would be inbound into the earth today, which means we're going to see more earthquakes. We're going to see more earthquakes. We're going to see more 5.0 to major 7.0 and larger earthquakes in the next 2 to 3 days. That's what happens when we have these solar flares, these coronal mass ejections from the sun. They heat up the Earth's atmosphere, they heat up the surface of the Earth, and they heat up all that gunk and grime that holds the plates and holds the earthquake faults in place, heats that stuff up until it turns into an oily, greasy-like substance, allowing the plates and the faults to more freely move, causing more earthquakes. That's going to happen. That's going to happen, guys. Now, with that said, let's go down here into New Zealand here. Okay? Today, over here near the strait, Cook Strait here, near the north shore of the South Island of New Zealand, we have a 4.5 earthquake here. This is a shallow earthquake being 55 kilometers deep, but it's right here, right smack dab here. 31 kilometers west-northwest of Tahi, New Zealand, in the Cook Strait here. 4.5 earthquake here did no damage. Off 31 kilometers offshore, meaning approximately 19 miles offshore here, meaning it didn't fully affect anyone here on the South Island here. Okay? If anybody felt anything, it's just barely probably small shaking dew here. That's all that happened. But this is not the only earthquake that hit here. Okay? This was a moderate earthquake hit here in the Cook Strait. But again, USGS is not even showing us all the earthquakes here. There are other earthquakes that hit here in the Cook Strait. There are other earthquakes that hit here on the South and the North Island of New Zealand. USGS does not show anything going on. As I've told you before, they're not going to. They haven't been showing much of anything going on here in years, literally years. They're not going to do it anymore. They're not going to do it anymore unless something major hits. And yes, stuff is inbound. There are big, large earthquakes inbound here. As I have explained before here in New Zealand, over here off the North Island, the east side of North Island here, the New Zealanders are expecting an 8.0 magnitude earthquake here, a subduction earthquake like we've been talking about up in the Pacific Northwest. It's going to hit here on the east side of the North Island. The scientists, the geologists believe it could happen within the next 25 years. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that large major 8.0 earthquake is inbound. I think it's inbound, guys. I don't think it's going to be 25 years. Okay? It could be years or it could be even days. It could be years or even days. I'm telling you this because we have New Zealanders who watch this program. I'm telling everybody, not just New Zealanders, to get prepared. Get prepared for earthquakes, guys. These earthquakes are going to hit. I promise you, these earthquakes are going to hit. And when they hit, it's going to be too late to do much of anything. That's why I tell you all to be prepared. That's why I've been talking about preparedness for such a long time. You need to be prepared. I want to go over here into Central America. Southern Mexico, guys. Southern Mexico. As I said yesterday, between Panama, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Nicaragua, and Guatemala, there have been about 14 earthquakes here yesterday. There's just as many today. Every day. Anywhere between 12 and 20 earthquakes here in Central America every day. However, right here, off the coast of southern Mexico, off the coast of southern Mexico, we've now had another large earthquake here. Another large 5.2 earthquake off the coast of southern Mexico. Okay? This is 10 kilometers deep, 6.2 miles deep, guys. It had an aftershock, 4.4 aftershock. The guys, USGS is only showing 2 earthquakes here. That's a mistake. That's a huge mistake. Ever since we had that powerful major earthquake here a week ago, we've had numerous earthquakes here off the coast of southern Mexico and on the coast, along the coastline and on land. They've happened. They've happened, guys. USGS continually doesn't show what is happening. I'm going to show you more earthquakes here today. I want you to understand what's going on here. Okay? Yes, we talk about earthquakes all the time. We talk about people's safety all the time. This is important. It's important or I wouldn't even bring it up. Okay? These earthquakes down here affect Central America, they affect Mexico, and they affect everybody here in the United States and Canada as well. They affect everybody, guys. Just because USGS doesn't want to talk about it doesn't mean it's not applicable. Okay? I want to show you what's going on here. Sorry about that. Now, I'm going to bring up our webcam again because I want to show you what is going on here in southern Mexico. Again, USGS is only showing us 2 earthquakes. Guess what? Look at this. 20 earthquakes here in southern Mexico right here. Only right here. The southernmost part of southern Mexico. Along with that 5.2 earthquake. Along with the 5.2 earthquake. Okay? This is a small 3.17. Fairly insignificant, but it's a small earthquake. People who live in this area felt it. They felt it locally. Okay? This earthquake here is also 3.0 small quake. Right next to that, over at the Mexico-Guatemala border, another 3.0 earthquake. Down here off the coast, another 3.0 earthquake. Okay? Look over here, Guatemala, El Salvador area. Look at these earthquakes here. They're not stopping. They're not stopping, guys. Over here in the Caribbean Sea, we have a 4.43 earthquake here. 4.43 earthquake here in the Caribbean Sea. Now, what's going on in southern Mexico here? Okay, this is the fewest number of earthquakes I've seen in southern Mexico in probably 9 or 10 months. There's only about 30 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. Usually we have between 40 and 60 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. From the Guatemala border here, all the way up here into Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Here into Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. We have one earthquake here just southwest of Puerto Vallarta. This is offshore from Jalisco, Mexico. This is a 3.5 small earthquake here. Typically, we have 3.0, 3.8 earthquakes all over southern Mexico here. All throughout southern Mexico here. All the time. But down here in southern Mexico here, we see 4.5 earthquakes quite frequently. Now we have a 5.2 offshore. These large earthquakes are going to continue to hammer here. Why is that? The Cocos Plate has become unstable here. The Cocos Plate has become unstable. Okay? Large seismic energies hit here. We just got through having a major earthquake last week. These earthquakes that you see here today are aftershocks. These earthquakes here in the southern Mexico area today are aftershocks of that major earthquake that hit here last week. They're continuing, they're not stopping. They're not stopping. Okay? That's critical for anybody that's watching this program or even see this program, because everybody's going to be affected by it. Everyone is going to be affected by it, guys. I'm not joking here. I'm not joking. Just because USGS doesn't show earthquakes here in Venezuela doesn't mean they didn't happen. They have. There are 28 earthquakes here in northern Venezuela around Caracas, further to the southeast. They're going to continue to happen. They just got through having major earthquake here. 2 major earthquakes. Aftershocks are going to continue to happen. They're still pulling people from rubble that happened after the earthquake hit. Okay? Nearly 10,000 people died here in Venezuela since those 2 major earthquakes hit. Nearly 10,000 people died. And so far, a total of over 17,000 people have been injured. Earthquakes are dangerous, guys. Earthquakes are dangerous. It's not stopping. It's not stopping. Over here in Peru last night, heard this when it came out. 5.6 large earthquake here on land. Northeast of San Fernando, Peru. Northeast of San Fernando, Peru. Mainland Peru, guys, on land. On land. This is farming area, guys. This is a farming area. Yes, there's a couple of small city suburbs here, but all this is farmland here. These large earthquakes are devastating earthquakes. 5.6 earthquakes are very dangerous earthquakes. Okay, very, very dangerous earthquakes. This earthquake has consequences. This 5.3 small, or not small, but 5.3 large earthquake, it's on the southern side of the large earthquakes, meaning it's not as dangerous as a 5.6 or 5.8. Actually, this is a 5.6, but it's not as dangerous as a 5.8 or 5.9 or even a major earthquake. But this is still a very dangerous earthquake. This 5.6 earthquake has consequences. Consequences, guys. Okay? This is only a shallow earthquake, too. 154 kilometers deep. A shallow earthquake. Meaning it was felt over a longer area, wider area. Wider area. More people felt it, more people being affected by it. Okay? Now, I'm going to bring this home now. I'm going to bring this home. I'm first going to go over here to southern Japan. Right here. In the Ryukyu Islands, south of Japan here. This is a 4.6 moderate earthquake here. A 4.6 moderate earthquake here. Okay? Again, they're not showing earthquakes here in southern Japan at all. Nowhere near Kyushu, guys. This is sad. This is very sad, guys. I'm saying very sad. Why? Because, guys, we have nearly 30 aftershocks here in southern Japan. 30 aftershocks here in Kyushu, Japan. USGS shows none. They show none. They're still digging through the rubble of that big, huge mall that got hit 4 days ago on Tuesday. On Tuesday, guys. Now it's Saturday over here in Japan. Other places also got hit here in Japan. Great big huge highways went down in the ocean here. Great big huge highway spans of bridges went down. Okay, lots of damage. Lots of damage. I'm not kidding by what I'm talking about today. I'm not pulling punches anymore either. I'm very serious with what I am saying here. Now, over here in Italy here, southern Italy area, okay? What have we talked about here? What have we been talking about here, guys? The Vesuvius volcano has been steaming again. USGS not showing it to be steaming, but it's steaming. This whole area is being rocked by earthquakes. This whole area is being rocked by earthquakes. Over here near Naples, Campi Flegrei is moving. Campi Flegrei is moving. You see craters here. You see craters here, guys. Why do we see craters here? After and before Vesuvius volcano was active. After and before Vesuvius volcano was active. These craters that you see here were spewing lava on the land here. All over the landscape here. Now today, what do we have here? We have a 4.5 earthquake here. They're not showing any other activity here. That's a crying shame. This is a crying shame here, guys. This is a crying shame. Okay? Huge misinjustice. Huge misjustice here. It's not just one earthquake. Look at this. There are about 30 earthquakes here today. 30 earthquakes, guys. Campi Flegrei is moving. We've talked about it before, I'm talking about it again. It's going to become very dangerous here. They've begun evacuations here in Campi Flegrei, Italy. They've started evacuations again here in Campi Flegrei. There's magma down beneath the surface here. As I stated before, way down deep in the South Pacific Ocean, there's a deep magma plume coming up from the mantle of the Earth. That mantle plume is supplying magma to all the volcanoes around the Earth, including over here at Campi Flegrei. Just because we don't have a huge cone volcano as a stratovolcano as Vesuvius doesn't mean it's not going to happen here. These craters and cones can become very active again. They can become very active again. Okay? This is dangerous, guys. This is serious. This is serious. Right now it's very warm over there in Italy. Very warm in Italy. It's tourist season. There are tourists from around the world that are here. There are tourists around the world here in Campi Flegrei. They've been evacuating people ever since these earthquakes started. Even the U.S., or not the U.S., but even the European agencies not been showing earthquakes here, but there have been earthquakes here. I've told you that. This is a 2.7 mine earthquake here. 2.7 mine earthquake here. Offshore, this is a 1.0 tremor. Okay? I'm just pointing out not specific earthquakes, but I'm pointing out general earthquakes here. This is a 1.4 tremor. Okay? Over here, Pozzoli, 1.2 tremor here. Okay? Here's a 1.0 tremor. This is a 1.5. Further over here in the bay, this is a 1.7. But as I said before, we have a 4.5 earthquake here. We have 3.0 earthquakes there. We have 3.2 earthquakes there. We have 2.7 earthquakes there. Things are happening here. Things are happening here. I'm going to tell you this. The Italian authorities have a right to evacuate. People's lives are in danger here. This is a very populated area. A very populated area here, guys. I'm serious about this. Okay? If you guys are watching this channel from anywhere in England, anywhere in Europe, anywhere in Italy, be advised. You need to comply with the authorities' words here. When they make authoritative statements, follow them to the letter. Follow those statements to the letter. Okay? I'm not just talking about Italy here. Not just talking about Italy here. I'm talking about everywhere. North Central Italy, we still have a big, huge swarm of earthquakes here. Big, huge swarm of earthquakes. I've told you before, we've had swarms of earthquakes here for now almost 3 years. In those 3 years, we've seen these swarms of earthquakes develop into large 5.0 earthquakes. It's going to happen again very soon. When we see swarms of earthquakes, we see large earthquakes as well. It's going to happen. Might happen very soon. Okay? An earthquake over here in Germany, 0.80 microquake. 0.80 microquake here in Germany. Okay? Happened. It happened. Again, USGS not showing anything here in Europe at all. Not a thing. Not a cotton picking thing. Now, between Norway and England. In the waterway between Norway and England here, right here in North Sea. Okay? We have a 3.2 earthquake here. 3.2 earthquake here. Okay? This is the first 3.2 any kind of earthquake I've seen here in the North Sea right here between England and Norway. The first one. But again, over here in Germany, 0.80 microquake. South there, we have 1.20, 1.20, and another 0.8 microquake here. Okay? Sweden, Norway. No earthquakes in Sweden and Norway. However, in Finland, northern Finland, Jitkela, Finland, 1.7 tremor. 1.7 tremor. Just south of Svalbard, on the Atlantic Fault, the mid-Atlantic Fault, we have a 3.6 earthquake here. 3.6 earthquake there. Okay? USGS is not showing it. Why not? Why not? Why are they not showing earthquakes over here in Iceland? Again, guys. Over here in Iceland, under this ice sheet here. Under this ice sheet is a volcano, guys. This is the volcano. We have a 2.2 minor earthquake right there. 2.2 minor earthquake at the volcano here in Iceland. Okay? If this volcano erupts again, it's going to completely take Europe out. It's going to completely shut down air traffic all over Europe. Literally all over Europe. The last time any of these volcanoes in Iceland erupted, it shut down air travel all over Europe. No air traffic in and out, no supplies, no tourists, no nothing. Shut Europe down for weeks. Could happen again. This is not the first time we've had an earthquake over in Iceland right here at that volcano, or the volcano south there too. We've had earthquakes here at this volcano as well. What am I talking about? I'm trying to put the word out. Nobody else is talking about it but me. Nobody else is talking about it but me, which is pretty sad. Let's go over here to Canada. To Canada, my buddies in Canada. Earthquake is over here in Canada here, Nova Scotia, Canada. This earthquake is over here in New Brunswick, Miramichi, Canada. 3.1 small earthquake here. 3.1 small earthquake here. Okay? USGS is not talking about earthquakes here in England or in US at all. They're not showing anything. Squat. But guess what, guys? Not only do we have this 3.1 earthquake over here in New Brunswick, it's not the only earthquake here. Northwest of New Brunswick, Hatura Felt, Canada, we have another 3.08 earthquake here. Two small earthquakes here right back to back. South of there, Namur, Quebec, Canada, 0.96 tremor here. USGS is not showing that either, are they? Why not? Why not? We're going over here to the Pneumatic Fault. Okay? USGS is showing this earthquake in Marston, Canada, or Marston, Missouri, the Boot Heel of Missouri. Again, it's not the only earthquake here as well. If I showed you a seismogram here in Marston, Missouri, there'd be dozens of microquakes, dozens of them. This earthquake here is a 0.96 microquake. A 0.96 microquake here, Marston, Missouri. Sorry, right here. 1.68 tremor here. 1.68 tremor here. Okay? I'm not done. Meridian, Oklahoma. Meridian, Oklahoma, guys, had an earthquake. 1.1 tremor here. 1.1 tremor here. It's not the only tremor that hit here. Right here, Chickasaw, Oklahoma, 1.5. Now, while USGS is not talking about anything but those two earthquakes, there are at least another dozen earthquakes here in Oklahoma that USGS nor the European agency is showing. Okay? I have friends here. I have EMA family members here in Oklahoma. They are telling me that the ground is shaking. Their garbage cans are barking together like dogs. The garbage cans behind their house are barking like dogs, shaking. Their silverware, their glassware, their plates and stuff are shaking inside their homes. These are small earthquakes. Small earthquakes that the agency is denying happening. That's why I'm saying you need to be concerned. This is ongoing. It's not just tremors and microquakes here in Oklahoma or even Texas. There are larger earthquakes here as well that the agency is denying happening. It's interesting how we have 30 people watching this program. 30 people watching it. I think YouTube is also lying to us. I know they are. I can prove it. Very soon I'm going to put out a program showing the truth of what's happening with our channel. YouTube doesn't like me here. YouTube doesn't like programs like mine on the air. Too bad to YouTube. YouTube is about to find itself in a world of grief. Channels just like mine are going to be taking YouTube to court very soon. YouTube's going to find out what it's like to lie to the courts, lie to everybody, and not pay us what we're due here. They're not doing it. Just like USGS is lying to the public here. USGS is not even showing all the earthquakes here in Southern California like I showed you here yesterday. Over 500 earthquakes a day happen here in the Imperial Valley. USGS shows us one earthquake here. Holtville, California. They say this is 9 miles west of Holtville, California. Holtville's right there, guys. Holtville's right there. This is a 1.1 tremor here. 1.1 tremor here. Right between Holtville and El Centro. As I showed you yesterday, we're 16 3.0 large earthquakes here in El Centro. There's even more now. USGS not showing them, are they? Never. Never, ever. They don't want to admit anything's happening here. Plausible deniability. Plausible deniability, guys. That city to the north of Imperial Valley, El Centro, the town of Imperial here. Earthquakes here as well. Earthquakes throughout the Imperial Valley to the north here, south of the Salton Sea, over here at Bombay Beach, out here in the Ocotillo Wells area, more earthquakes than that. Today, USGS is showing us 1.1 tremor here. Southeast of Ocotillo Wells, 1.4 tremor. One north here, 1.3 tremor here, 10 kilometers northeast of Ocotillo Wells. Interesting. There's more than that. There's more than that. These earthquakes here in Borrego Springs, Anza-Borrego Desert State Park here, northeast San Diego County, they're not the only earthquakes here. They're not the only earthquakes here. Right here, Palomar Mountain got shaken today. Palomar Mountain, San Diego County, northeast of Escondido got shaken today. 7,000 foot mountain. I think it's 7,100 foot mountain here. You got shaken with 3.0 small earthquake. 3.0 small earthquake on the San Jacinto Fault. Further south here, Lake Henshaw. Lake Henshaw today, guys. Northwest of Lake Henshaw here, we had a 1.2 tremor here. 1 mile west of Lake Henshaw, 1.2 tremor here. Something else also happened here in San Diego County today. Something else happened here in San Diego County today. Let me try to find it here for you. Right here, Miramar Naval Air Station, near the western side of the runway here. An F-32 fighter jet went down here. An F-32 fighter jet went down here. There are no survivors as of yet. We have no reports of anything else, but the news reports coming out of Miramar show the plane completely destroyed, blackened on the runway here. Fire started here after the aircraft went down about 10 o'clock this morning. As of 2 o'clock this afternoon, no reports of survivors or anything else. San Diego Fire Department and Federal Fire Department here on Marine Corps Air Station Miramar fought the fire and put it out. Fought the fire and put it out. Now, just west of the runway, here, we have Interstate 805 here, a 4-lane freeway north and southbound. 4 lanes south, 4 lanes north here. This fighter jet was lucky to go down on military air station. Could have been worse. Could have been over here in La Jolla. Could have been over here in La Jolla where people live in it or living at. Okay. Or further here to the west, a very huge populated area here in La Jolla, with Interstate 5 running north and south here. Things could have been really bad. Let's get talking about earthquakes again. Over here also in San Diego, USGS is reporting a quarry blast here in La Mesa, California. It's interesting. Interesting, guys. Guess what? It's not a freaking quarry blast, guys. It's not a freaking quarry blast here. There is an aqueduct feeding from Colorado River all the way down here in San Diego County. This is a 1.0 tremor here in La Mesa, California. 1.0 tremor here in La Mesa, California. At the aqueduct here. At the aqueduct here, guys. Okay? USGS tries to call it a quarry, but it's not. It's nowhere near the quarry. It's at an aqueduct. Okay? Now, USGS still not showing all the earthquakes here at all. They never do. Again, a 3.0 small earthquake happened here at Palomar Observatory. Hale telescope here. Hale telescope here. Going up here to the north. Hemet, California. I showed you the seismogram here at Hemet, California the other day. Today we're showing you 1.2 tremor, but guess what? There are probably 50 other 1.2 tremors here in Hemet, California. There are also minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.9 here as well. Again, USGS is lying to the public. Over here in Los Angeles County, Corona, California, 1.2 tremor. I showed you last night, Long Beach, California, earthquakes here. Anaheim, California, earthquakes here. All the way over here, El Monte, Los Angeles, all this area here, earthquakes, guys, earthquakes. USGS shows nothing going on. That's the thing, nothing ever happens here. Offshore here near Avalon, 1.5 tremor here. Then right here, guys, the Rose Canyon Fault. The Rose Canyon Fault running down into San Diego County. The Rose Canyon Fault coming off the Newport Inglewood Fault up here in Los Angeles. I'm running all the way down here in San Diego County here. Interesting how that can happen. They try to tell us nothing's going on. In the southern part of the Cascades subduction zone, the southern end of the Cascades subduction zone today, right here on the Gorda Escarpment. The Gorda Escarpment is the east-west fault zone coming away from Northern California. This happens to be a 2.5 minor earthquake. 2.5 minor earthquake. Not bad. Nobody felt it. Minor earthquake, people don't even feel it. Feels it out to sea. Nobody felt it at all. The earthquakes are happening, guys, up and down the entire fault line, all the way up into the Pacific Northwest today. Up here to the north here, Campbell River, Canada. Campbell River, Canada. 4.1 moderate earthquake here. 4.1 moderate earthquake here. Okay? I'm very surprised the USGS is even showing this. They usually don't show us earthquakes here in Vancouver, British Columbia at all. Very rarely do they ever show anything happening here. They do happen here. I'm not going to spend any more time here talking about earthquakes specifically here. As you can see, there are earthquakes and there are other earthquakes here as well. Nothing major here has happened today so far. But as I said before, we've had solar flares coming off the sun during the last several days. That solar energy is penetrating the earth right now, today, as we speak. We're going to see more earthquakes here. We're going to see other things happening here, as well as signs in the heavens. Yes, we're going to see heavens turning color here as a result of the solar flares hitting our atmosphere. Plasma radiation hitting our atmosphere, causing heavens to glow. Okay? What's going to happen? Okay? We might even see these heavens glow all the way down to the northern tier of states, and possibly as far south as North and South Carolina. So if you don't have clouds overhead, you might be watching for these auroras in the northern tier of states all the way down into Idaho, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, over here into the east, into South and North Carolina as well. Watch tonight, see what happens. Now, as I said before, we have lots of earthquakes, don't we? Lots and lots of earthquakes. There's more than that. They're not even showing half what's going on. Now, guys, I don't normally talk like I'm doing today. I don't normally talk like I'm doing today. I'm very serious about what's going on. Okay? If you have people that want to watch this channel, please tell them to tune in right now. Please call them on the phone. Tell them to tune in our program right now. I'm going to talk about why we prepare for disasters and why we prepare for emergencies. Okay? I'm going to talk about the three categories of disasters and emergencies. I'm going to talk about the likelihood of disasters and emergencies to hit you, not just here in the United States, but around the world. I'm going to talk about bulletproofing yourselves for emergencies and for disasters. I'm going to be talking about the financial aspect of preparation. I'm going to talk about our individual unique situations. I'm going to talk about other considerations you need to look at as well. It's very interesting here. Just a moment ago, we had 30 people watching our program. Now that number's dropped down to 21. Nobody wants to hear about earthquake preparation. Nobody wants to hear about any kind of preparation whatsoever. That's very apparent to me. But guess what? Those people who left our program now are not going to hear it because they're too dadgum blind to be able to understand what's going on here. I'm not joking about this, guys. I'm not joking about this whatsoever. Okay? No, most of us have not seen a major disaster or an earthquake in our century. We've seen some major earthquakes in Southeast Asia. We've seen major earthquakes hit in Japan. We've seen major earthquakes hit in the Philippines, Indonesia, over in the South Pacific Islands, over in South America. Guess what? Your emergency here in the United States is coming. Your emergency in Europe is coming. Guaranteed. I'm not going to use swear words like you see happen on other channels, whereas we hear our politicians swear up like a bunch of sailors. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to be very emphatic here. I'm going to get down to brass tacks here. I want you to prepare for what's going to happen. And yes, it's going to happen, guys. I promise you it's going to happen. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen tomorrow. Those earthquakes that hit in Tonga and Fiji this past week, close to 25 earthquakes today in the past 72 hours in the Tonga Fiji region. Just because USGS doesn't show it doesn't mean it didn't happen. It did. I heard earthquakes come over my earthquake monitor last night. I heard all kinds of large 5.1, 5.2, 5.3 earthquakes hit in Tonga and Fiji area last night. I heard them coming through the monitor earlier today. Those earthquakes are going to move south into where? New Zealand. You folks in New Zealand better open your ears right now. You're going to want to hear what I have to say. Because emergencies and disasters are about to come true for all of you. I ain't saying this. I don't want to bring bad luck to anybody. This is not luck. This has nothing to do about luck. This has nothing to do about scare tactics. That's not what I'm talking about. I want you to be prepared because this is going to happen to you. Each and every one of us. Each and every one of us. There are some very good reasons to prepare for emergencies and for disasters. Terrorism. Terrorism has become a very global issue. England has had it. France has seen it all over the place. Spain has seen it right now. Spain has been invaded as of the last 48 hours. Spain has invaded France, or not Spain, but the terrorists from Islam has invaded France. Paris is a disaster area today. Spain is going to see it today and tomorrow. Spain has been seeing it. It's going to get worse. England is going to get much worse as well. Sweden has also gotten bad. Over in southeastern Sweden, in a town called Malmö. Malmö is a town of about 45,000 people on the southeastern coast of Sweden. Malmö has been invaded for the past 10 years. The Islamic terrorists in Sweden have been burning down apartment buildings, burning down homes, burning down businesses, and torching cars and police cars as well. As soon as a police officer arrives there, those Islamist terrorists take over that police car and burn it down, torch it, and burn it to the ground. What's been going on in New York? Even prior to Mamdani taking over as mayor, they had a lot of terrorism problems in New York. It's going to get worse. As I said earlier, New York is a disaster area just waiting to happen to get worse. I saw real terrorism happening today in New York, all over the streets of New York. Today, it's going to get worse. Not just New York, but every major city around this country, and every small town as well. As I said, terrorism has become a global issue, a huge global problem. It's very hard to stop it. These things are going to happen in all the westernized countries, not just third world countries. Cultures clash. Cultures do clash, yes, every day. There are all kinds of racial conflicts, but it's not just racial. It's a cultural crisis. The cultural crisis. Islamic people have already said they want to take over. They've taken over Iran completely. They're trying to put out their long fingers all over the Middle East. They're trying to destroy the United States military. They haven't gotten very far. And right now, as of the past 2 days, President Trump says it's over. There's been heavy bombing over Iran since yesterday. Very heavy bombing since yesterday. President Trump has vowed to take out all the bridge systems. President Trump has vowed to destroy their nuclear capability completely. Pickaxe Mountain to the east of Tehran is going to become dust. Nothing but dust. Not just a mountain, but dust. We already had those 3,000-pound bunker busters hit that complex. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. What's been going on in England, what's been going on in Germany, what's been going on in France, what's been going on here in the United States is only going to get worse. Many more people are going to be abused and already are being abused in bus stations, in streets, in homes, and in businesses. And this terrorism could take decades before it ends. It could take decades before it ends. The population is growing by over 200,000 people right now today. The Islamic population here in the United States has grown to over 200,000 people today. You can read about it. It's all over the newspapers, all over the internet. What's also been going on? What's also been going on? There's been a depopulation of every country around the world. That's been going on for the past 7 years. 7 years. The average couple has a baby, 2 babies a year now. I'm sorry, 2 babies during the lifetime. Never before in the United States history has that ever been accomplished. Usually it's about 3 to 4 people or 3 to 4 children in every family. Now it's 1.5 to 1.75. Depopulation. It's going to get worse. As our population in Western United States countries depends more heavily on 2-parent income, depopulation is going to become a huge problem. Huge problem. Okay? As Islamic people take over, it's going to become more of a problem than ever. Why am I saying Islamic population take over? Because that is exactly what they promised to do. In Texas alone, unfortunately in Texas alone, they've taken over a huge plot of land in Texas. Huge plots of land in Texas. They built an Islamic center in Texas. Huge Islamic center in Texas. Our United States citizens have now begun revolting and are going to be taking down that mosque and everything around it. Islamists wanted to have Sharia law take place here in the United States, and several major cities here in the United States just said no. They said no to Sharia law. Right now, our Congress is trying to say no to Sharia law everywhere in the United States, including Dearborn, Michigan, which has been taken over as of about 5 years ago. 5 years ago, guys, Dearborn, Michigan was taken over by the Islamists. There's not one street sign, not one restaurant sign, business signs, or anything in English. None. It's all Islamic. That's going to come to a screeching halt very soon, we hope. What else is going on? The mega drought is expanding right now as we speak. Okay? The meteorologists around the world, and especially here in the United States, have been saying we're inside a mega drought. It's not just California anymore. It's not just Arizona. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Even here on the East Coast, here in North Carolina, our government has been saying, save water. Save water. They've instituted measures to save water here in North Carolina and all over the United States. I've talked about the power grid. I've talked about EMPs. I've talked about all kinds of stuff, including solar flares that could affect our power grid. The United States power grid and power grids around the world are not only vulnerable to EMPs, but those power grids might collapse on their own because they are really old. Yes, we talked about the Minnesota water supply being attacked by terrorists from inside attack on the water grid in Minnesota. Since they've been able to do that, there's been several more attacks on the water grid in the United States. I have more information about that another time. Okay? Things are happening. With the increasing number of cars, electric cars, car chargers and gadgets, and then our president and other agencies here in the government, locally and state and federal, wanting to institute these great big huge power cities, power buildings to power the AI. Guess what? Those AI power grids require a lot of electricity. That means those AI companies have to manufacture their own electricity because our power grid right now is not going to be able to supply them power to do what they want to do. Our electric cars that are now been expanded require charging. That's one reason why California will never have an absolute mandate on electric cars like Newsom has done. It's not going to happen. It's not even possible because the power grid in California is not able to do it, not able to handle it. Never will, at least in our lifetime. But our power grid is crumbling, really. Fact. U.S. debt has reached a record high of over $27 trillion. Over $27 trillion in debt. That's a miracle the dollar has not collapsed yet. I'm saying yet. That collapse of the dollar could happen at any time, literally any moment, regardless who's in charge of the White House. Speaking of which, we've talked about the attacks on President Trump. They're not stopping. More and more threats have come to the President of the United States and his entire family. The U.S. Secret Service, the United States Capitol Police, and other agencies have been trying to help protect President Trump, the Trump family, and all of our other politicians around our country. The United States of America has had a number of powerful enemies. Russia, Iraq to some extent, Syria, Afghanistan, North Korea, and China. Each and every one of those countries would like to see the United States of America taken down. Riots and unrest in recent history have showed how easy it is to spread that riots and unrest. Antifa started in the Pacific Northwest in Salem, Washington, and spread down into Portland, Oregon, and all the way throughout Oregon. Antifa now is become a persona non grata. Antifa has been now called a terrorist group. They're not going to be allowed to exist. But the riots and unrest are continuing. As I said today, New York City, police tried to crack down on Antifa and the Islamic takeover of New York, and there was a huge riot. Huge riot. These are just a few of the world's problems I've been talking about. But the real number of disasters and also emergencies is big and small. It's huge. It's not just big and small, it's huge. This is why I have been painstakingly putting this presentation together. Painstakingly putting this discussion together for you. I'm trying to put it into categories so you don't need to feel overwhelmed. And we need to take things one thing at a time. So let's start with the first category now. First category, small scale critical events. Small scale critical events. Car crashes. 37,000, now 41,000 car crashes in the year happen to people here in the United States. 41,000 people die in the United States every year. And over 2 million people are injured every year here in the United States from car crashes. That four-letter word starting with R, ending in E, account to 300,000 SAs in the U.S. every year. 300,000 SAs happen here in the United States every year. Firearm assaults. Although the number is decreasing, last year we still saw nearly 1 million reported assaults here in the U.S. Nearly 1 million reported assaults here in the U.S. Electric shocks. 200 to 300 people die every year here in the United States from electrical shocks. Drowning accounts for approximately 3,500 to 4,000 people a year here in the U.S. That is about 10 people per day on average die of drowning. Food poisoning. 1 in 6 Americans get sick every year, and 3,000 people die here in the United States every year from food poisoning. Food poisoning is becoming a very real problem, but it's not just from accidental poisoning. These poisons have become an everyday occurrence because people don't like other people. Heart attacks are the leading cause of death in the U.S. Over 600,000 people a year die of heart attacks. Rabid dogs account for 40,000 U.S. citizens a day. 40,000 U.S. citizens per year being treated for rabies. We talked about carbon monoxide poisoning, carbon monoxide intoxication from either cars in garages or other things leading to carbon monoxide, including people bringing grills indoors, trying to grill food indoors, and the carbon monoxide from the fires from the grills poisoning people in their houses. 15,000 visits to the ER every year from carbon monoxide poisoning. House fires. Over 1.6 million. 1.6 million people die in fires every year. Fainting. Fainting happens more and more every year because people don't get the first aid training or get treated for their heart attacks, or they get treated for being lightheaded or feeling their body being buzzed, not having lack of oxygen in their blood. Fainting has also become a real issue. Getting struck by lightning has increased the number of deaths here in the U.S. and all over the world. Cars breaking down. Cars breaking down also results from injuries and deaths because people are on the sides of roadways getting hit and killed by motorists that are not paying attention, also by drunks driving. Okay, cars breaking down. Falling down. It's not just a thing for adults in their senior years. People die and get hurt from falling downstairs, falling down, period. Falling down a tree. Thousands upon thousands of people are committing suicide as well. Attempted suicide is one of the leading causes of death here in the United States. Kitchen gardening, homesteading, and farming accidents also accounts for injuries, deaths here in the U.S. and all over the world. Accidental firearm discharges. another leading cause of death here in the U.S. Unfortunately, it happens every day. I just read yesterday about another firearm discharge that killed a little boy. Seizures. Seizures happen all the time, not just to human beings, but our pets as well. Road rage. Falling objects, not just tiles in the home, falling objects from space, falling objects from planes. Biking accidents. Biking accidents, guys. Nearly 1,000 bikers died in 2025. Nearly 1,000 bikers died in 2025. And I'm sure on the global statistics, it may be even higher. Motorcycle accidents. Over 5,000 people die each year on U.S. roads. Motorcycle accidents. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you this. When I was an officer on the streets, my primary job was investigating auto accidents, including motorcycles. I hated like all get out to investigate a motorcycle accident because every motorcycle accident I ever came to, the person died. Then shortly after I retired, I was coming back from seeing one of my friends in central Utah. Driving northbound on Interstate 15, going into the Salt Lake metro area. A motorcycle person came between me and another vehicle on my left, hit the outside rear view mirror of that vehicle. Motorcycle wobbled like this, went down right in front of me. The motorcycle hit the highway right in front of me. His head bounced on the pavement as his body and his motorcycle skid to a stop. I also skid to a stop and didn't hit him. But this is the first motorcycle accident I ever came to that happened right in front of me. He didn't survive. And he had on a brain bucket. He had on a helmet. Motorcycle accidents are hitting everywhere, not just here in the U.S., but everywhere. Hiking accidents, guys, hiking accidents. A whopping 200,000 people die a year. A whopping 200,000 people die a year. And even more people than that get treated for hiking accidents. Snowboarding, sledding, actual hiking are at the top of the list. The top of the list. Back in 2012, the number of deaths was 300 yearly. Why has it gone up to 200,000? Because more and more people have not paid attention. More and more people have not paid attention, not even preparing. By preparing, getting information, and using the equipment necessary to protect themselves. Boating accidents. Over 300 Americans die every year in boating accidents. Sinking cars. Bee stings. Pickpocketing. A major crime now here in the U.S. Pickpocketing. Weather-related deaths. Over 2,000 people a year die every year in weather-related accidents. A third of them from cold-related issues. A third of those 2,000 die from cold-related issues, including hypothermia. Another big issue is losing your job or losing your house. Street fighting. Guys, I saw a video this morning because of the riots that have been happening in New York. I saw a huge street fight break out between Muslims and white everyday Americans here in New York. Street fighting has become a major crime. It's also led to many deaths and injuries as well. Choking, guys. choking, suffocation, and strangulation are real issues and one of the leading causes of death here in the U.S., probably abroad as well. Hazardous materials incident. Hazardous materials incidents. I've shown you this book before. I'm going to show you this book again. This is from 2012. This is from the 2012 issue. I believe the present 2024 edition is still out. This is the Emergency Response Guidebook. Because businesses and the government is not doing their job. Businesses and government is not doing their job. More people have either been injured or lost life from these kinds of accidents. Every year. If you are a member of your emergency response team in your local city or county, make sure you get one of these guidebooks. Call 1-800-327-6868 to go to the J.J. Keller Agency and get your book. Or via the internet, go to www.jjkeller.com and order one of these books. These books could save your life knowing what these chemicals are around the U.S., in your home, on the streets, and out in your businesses. No hazardous materials back, forwards, and upside down. People also get lost in cities. And it contributes to injuries and deaths every year. We've talked about dust storms before. Dust storms are a real issue. They contribute huge health problems every year. And yes, some people die because they're not ready to even handle being in a dust storm. Hailstorms happen every year. Every year, guys. Now, I didn't think about it. I might see if I can quickly bring it up on my device here. I have a picture of a hailstone the size of someone's hand. I have a picture of a hailstone the size of someone's hand, guys. It's unreal. One of the biggest pieces of hail I've ever seen. It's huge. It's huge, guys. Let me see if I can find it real quick. That's what I thought I had it right here. Just a second here. Oh gosh, where did it go? Okay, guys, I can't find it. Let me do this. That piece of hail was like this. Not a joke at all. The hail was a big, huge circle like this. And guys, it looked like a huge compass. Looked like a huge compass. Lines going from the middle of the piece of hail all the way out to the side, to the end, the side edge of the piece of hail, but tiny lines all the way around the huge piece of hail. Huge, probably 5 to 6 inch diameter piece of hail. One of the biggest hailstones I've ever seen. Here in the United States, over 5,000 such storms exist every year. Over 5,000 hailstorms exist every year. That's increasing, by the way. Now, guys, the next subject I'm going to cover is police brutality. Yes, it does exist. It happens a lot during riots. It happens a lot during riots. Yes, there are bad cops out there. When I was a cop, we had 2 bad cops in my department. We got rid of them finally. It took years to get rid of them. We finally got rid of them. Bad cops happen all the time in every police department worldwide. They happen a lot during riots. Why? Because some police are hyped up with adrenaline when they arrive to a call, similar like these riots are. They get hyped up on adrenaline, then things happen. Okay? The police officers themselves are not always to blame. What happens? At these riots, all kinds of people start showing up. Whether they want to or not, they just show up because it's crazy. Stuff is happening. They want to see what's happening. But if you show up at a scene or a riot, guess what's going to happen? The police or the local authority is going to see you as possible criminal or thug. And then they're going to do what is necessary to take you into custody. They're going to do whatever's necessary to take you into custody. The present law of force, let me explain this. There is a law when it comes to using force from police. It's called the minimal amount of use of force that's necessary to subdue the subject from hurting you or killing you. Bad people hurt and kill officers every year, every day of every year. It happens. Officers are allowed to use that force which is reasonable and necessary, no more. Officers are allowed to use that force which is reasonable and necessary to take you in custody and stop the assault from happening. That's the use of force. Yes, there is police brutality out there. I never, ever use brutality on anyone that I arrested, ever. If I laid my hands on you, that's because you were breaking the law and or abusing someone else. Then look out. All heck will break out. You don't want that. If you don't want it to happen, stay indoors. Stay away from riots and things from happening. Don't let your adrenaline take the best away from you. Don't let your adrenaline take over, putting yourself in danger where something could happen. Bad cops are everywhere, but don't let yourself be involved in some case that you could prevent from happening. Don't do it. Stay away from it. Snake bites. Snake bites. 7,000 to 8,000 people get bit a year by snakes, resulting in 5 or 6 of those people die. 5 to 6 people die every year from snake bites. Spider bites. Spider bites kill more people than snakes. 7 people every year die from spider bites. Now, one of my cousins saw a great big huge scorpion yesterday. Great big huge scorpion like this yesterday. Huge. Huge scorpion. Fortunately, they used a great big huge thick towel or several towels to put over the scorpion to pick it up and release it to us in a safe place. Those scorpion bites can happen, get stung, and you could die if you're not careful. Carol saw a spider in our home and nearly got bit herself. If I hadn't thrown something at Carol, she would have gotten bit. And who knows what would have happened. Tick bites. Some ticks carry Lyme disease, which can also result in death or very serious illness. Lyme disease, guys. Now, we've been talking a lot about earthquakes, right? We've talked about tsunami-like waves. Tsunami-like waves. Tsunami-like waves can happen not just in the ocean, but the Great Lakes. You folks that live in southern Canada, you folks that live in the northern tier states, around the Great Lakes, they have what they call Seiche waves, S-E-I-C-H-E waves on the Great Lakes. Only 10 big ones have ever occurred in the last 100 years. Only 10 such Seiche big waves have happened here in the United States in the last 100 years. But the last one happened in 1998. It caused some parts of Michigan to be declared federal disaster areas. Truth. Let's talk about Category 3 medium impact disaster. Medium impact disaster. Terrorist attacks. Terrorist attacks, an active shooter. I'm going to give you the global statistics on this because it's spreading. Over 18,000 attacks in 2025 alone. 18,000 plus attacks happened in 2025 alone. That's increased already this year. 32,700 people died. 32,700 people died. 34,700 people got injured. And there were 9,400 kidnappings. 9,400 kidnappings. Unreal. Flash floods. Over 100 American people die in flash floods every year. Why do I tell you to stay home? There's a severe storm, stay home if it's absolutely possible. Stay home. Don't go driving through high water. There's roadways being flooded out. Don't cross those roadways at all. Don't cross those roadways at all. Over 100 Americans die every year from flash flooding. Earthquakes. We talk about earthquakes every day. Over 1,700 earthquakes occur every year. 1,700 large earthquakes happen every year. Large earthquakes. Large earthquakes with a magnitude of at least 5 plus a year. 5.01 large earthquakes a year. Okay? People die and get injured. Volcanic eruptions. Volcanic eruptions. There are 40 to 45 volcanic eruptions every day. Every day. There are 169 active volcanoes here in the U.S. 169 volcanoes here in the U.S. alone. 60 volcanoes in Alaska. 60. Tsunamis. We've talked about tsunamis a great deal, guys. Tsunamis. So far here in the United States, we've only had one tsunami threat last year. One tsunami threat last year. From an earthquake, guys, from an earthquake that happened in Kamchatka Peninsula. Kamchatka Peninsula, Russia, from the Northwestern Pacific. That tsunami was large enough to cross the entire Pacific Basin and impact California. Impacted Canada and California, both of them. West coast of the United States and Canada. Wildfires. We talk a lot about wildfires every year, not just in the summer. Over 60,000 total wildfires every year in the United States, which burned in 2025. In 2025, 6.7 million acres of land. 6.7 million acres of land destroyed by wildfires. Think about that. Unreal, guys. I'm going to pause for just a minute because Heidi Petrick is here in the chat. She said the Washingtonian is not fond of what went on in the U.S. in Washington State. So-called summer of love. Fight for what you love, people. Your Lord, your country, your state, your community, your family. These Antifa riots are going to stop. These Antifa riots are going to stop. The police and the National Guard are going to get called. These thugs are going to get killed. These thugs are going to get killed. Fire department's going to be called out and use a water cannon to spray these people causing these riots. Then people with riots come over and shoot guns at the firefighters. I've seen it happen. One firefighter this year has lost his life to thugs from riots. One firefighter this year has been killed because of riots. About a dozen police officers have also been hurt fighting riots, unfortunately. Ice storms. Ice storms last year. Okay? Usually we have about 15 every year. Now we had 22 ice storms last year. 22 major ice storms last year. Riots happen all the time, don't they? Home invasions. 1 in 5, guys, get this, 1 in 5 homes will experience a home invasion at some point. There's a burglary about every 15 seconds. About every 15 seconds, there's a burglary. And 1 property crime every 2 seconds. 1 property crime every 2 seconds of every year. Avalanches, guys. We talked somewhat about avalanches, both in the winter and the summertime. Avalanches and landslides. Almost 30 people every year die in the United States as a result of avalanches. 30 people a year die as a result of avalanches here in the U.S. Chemical leaks, chemical spills. Thousands of chemical spills happen every year. Thousands of yearly chemical spills every year. Chemical attacks have been happening as well. Drought. We talked about drought just a few minutes ago. Big time problem. Prolonged grid down situation. We've seen it happen. Last year, we saw grids being attacked here in the U.S., North Carolina, South Carolina, Indiana, New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, New Jersey, Virginia, and other places around this country. This happens, guys. Power grid down situations, with power being out for weeks. Power being out for weeks. Snowstorms and blizzards. 20 to 30 yearly deaths happen alone here in the United States from snowstorms and blizzards. 20, 30 people die every year from snowstorms and blizzards. Heat waves. Right now we are having a heat wave all across the entire country and all the way around Europe, all over South and Central America, all over Australia, even over in Japan. Drought conditions persist. Prolonged grid down situations. Prolonged grid down situations, blackouts. Blackouts. Heat exhaustion. Extreme cold. Mudslides and landslides. There are 25 to 30 people who die every year in mudslides and landslides every year. Radiation leaks are becoming more and more of an issue. Radiation leaks are becoming more and more an issue. Now we talk about military law, martial law. We've nearly had a martial law instance here in the United States this year. One incident this year, twice last year. Martial law could happen again in our own communities because of people that riot, people that don't think to even pay attention to what's happening. Okay? That can happen every year. Let's talk about large-scale devastating events. Large-scale devastating events, and we're going to stop here. War. Iran provoked the U.S.-Israel Iran war. Iran provoked it. In 2025, October 2025, Iran struck Israel, killed over 300 people. Other people from Israel that got caught in Iran were sentenced to death. Other Jews throughout this world were attacked by Iranians or Muslim people. President Trump said no more. Iran has stopped letting oil flow through from Iran and other countries in the Gulf, Persian Gulf, and the U.S. president said no more. So we took out Iran. We took out their capability of nuclear weapons. Then Iran said, oh, please, we need a ceasefire. We need to stop this war. President Trump gave him a ceasefire. Then Iran said, oh, we want to settle this thing. We don't want to still go on. So they signed an agreement that didn't stop, and they opened up again. Opened up on firing at commercial ships, opened up on firing at U.S. military bases overseas, and they fired on their own countrymen over in the Middle East. Iran is slowly but surely being destroyed because of war. There's a war in Ukraine, a war in Russia right now. Great parts of Moscow have been taken out by Ukraine because of what happened with Russia. Putin attacking Ukraine 5 years ago. It's continuing to happen. We've had viruses. We've had Zika and the Ebola virus recently. Before it was COVID. Now we find out Dr. Fauci lied to everybody. He also was now being charged with spreading the COVID virus all over the world. I think in the next few weeks, we're going to see Dr. Fauci, Bill Gates, and others being arrested because their affiliation with the COVID incident developing not just the virus, but also the vaccine. Yes, the vaccine guys, developed and patented by Bill Gates, that killed millions of people during the 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022 years. Unreal. Viruses, tsunamis, we talked about, mass extinction of honeybees, mass extinction, right, destruction of honeybees. That was purposeful, guys. That was man-made. Hurricanes, we've not seen that many hurricanes so far this year, but they do happen. Last year and the years before, thousands upon thousands of people have been killed because of hurricanes. Pandemics, they hit, they take life. Mega droughts like we're in right now take lives as well. Already happened this year. Economic collapse. Let's talk a moment about economic collapse. There's lots of ways it could happen. It could happen at the drop of a hat right now. Right now, today, it could happen. So far, President Trump has kept it from happening here in the U.S. and all over the world. If Trump had not been president, we would have seen an economic collapse here in the U.S., an economic collapse around the world before now. Now, the dollar collapse has happened before. It's trying to happen again because of the evil influences. The shrinking of the middle class is also helping it. The shrinkage of the middle class and even the banks failing. Last year and for years before, we saw many banks fail. We've discussed it here on this channel. Food crises are continuing. Food crises are continuing. Bill Gates bought up all kinds of farmland. Then he prevented farmers from farming the farmland. As a result, dairy prices, agriculture prices, food prices across the board have increased. Not because of earthquakes, not because of droughts, the evil people within our system making sure we don't have our vegetables, our meat and dairy products. Okay? Food crises are happening now. Man-made or natural EMPs. That could continue to be a real problem in the very near future. Now, one of the things that they have, I want to talk about today, is the Yellowstone volcanic caldera. The Yellowstone volcanic caldera is not erupting. It's not going to happen. At least I don't think it's going to happen anywhere in the near future. We have no evidence at all of the Yellowstone volcano ramping up at all. None. Yes, we have our tremors there. Yes, occasionally we will see a minor 2.0, 2.2, 2.3 earthquake happen in Wyoming and Montana, and even Idaho. But right now, the Yellowstone caldera is not showing any signs of it erupting at all, not into the near future. If something changes, I will tell you about it. I monitor Yellowstone on a daily basis. Nationwide martial law. The accompanying martial law that could happen very easily at any point in time. Mostly because of the reasons we've already talked about today. Okay? The possible rise of a ruthless dictator, not necessarily in the United States. A gradual collapse of society, yes, it could happen. Even here, at any point in time. Global warming, there's no such thing as global warming. We don't want to ever hear that again. Warming here in the world is a cyclical problem. a cyclical problem. Yes, we have people that are very evil, trying to report the climate warming. It's not happening. It's not happening, but it could. We have people who want to use chemicals to control our weather. Yes, they're doing that. Right now, that's not a real issue. Right now, it's not a real issue. Yes, there is climate change going on, but not from global warming. Okay? A technical disaster could happen. Power grid could go down. An asteroid hitting the Earth could happen. Very unlikely, but it could happen. If an asteroid hit the Earth, there's nothing much we could do about it. There are many, many reasons we all need to be preparing for a disaster or an emergency in our lives. Many reasons. If you get intimidated or you get scared, don't do it. If you're intimidated, get scared, don't do it. However, I get it. I understand. You can't prepare for everything, and you shouldn't. Otherwise, your whole entire life will revolve around preparing for disasters and emergencies. That's just not for everyone. I myself have been doing this for years and years and years. I'm prepared for almost anything could happen. I'm prepared for anything could happen, literally. But again, I've been doing it for years. Okay. Now somebody mentioned another person on here on YouTube and other venues, and I'm taking it down. I just remove it from the chat. Guys, do not ever, without my permission, do not ever mention another website or mention other social media provider on my chat without my permission. Don't do it. If you do it, I will take your chat down. If it continues, I'll remove it from our channel. Don't do it. Okay? Yes, I understand other people around the world and here in the United States monitor earthquakes. But I don't want to hear about it on our chat. Do not, without my permission, do that. Yes, you can call me. Yes, you can write me letters. Yes, you can leave me messages, but do not use that in my chat. Do not use that in our communications here on my channel at all. Don't do it. Okay? FSO operator or FS operator, 864. I have the capability to show most earthquakes. I do. Most of us do, but some don't. USGS is not doing it. I try to show you that information, those earthquakes around the globe that are happening, that are pertinent to each one of us. I show every day the earthquakes that are pertinent to us. They're happening to us. That can result in our lives being disrupted or our lives ending. I'm going to do that because our very safety depends on it. Our very safety and our livelihoods depend on it. But please don't put any others' names or websites or channels on our chat. Okay? Don't do it. Okay? There are many reasons why we prepare for emergencies and disasters. Don't be scared about it. Don't be scared. I know each of us cannot prepare for everything, and you shouldn't. Otherwise, your whole life will revolve to nothing but preparedness. It's not necessary. Be prepared for most of the things that are going to happen. You can do that. You can be prepared for most things that happen, but not everything. Between 2005 and 2015, in general, there were 699 major disasters in the U.S. declared disasters. That's 70 disasters per year. 70 disasters per year, guys. Earthquakes and weather-related events. This did not take into account small-scale events. If we were to count all the car crashes, all the robberies, all the assaults, no matter what it is, we would reach the inevitable conclusion that the world is a very scary place. We already know that. Now, I'm not telling you to not get out of your house. You need to get out of your house. But you have to maintain a certain attitude that things can turn for the worse at any moment. You must have the good attitude that things can happen and turn worse at the very drop of a hat. They do. But we need to bulletproof ourselves as well. My approach to preparedness is this. It's simple. First, you figure out your unique situation. Apply a layered approach. First, prepare for the first 3 days, then 3 weeks, then 3 months, and even 1+ years. Prepare for 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, and then a year or more. Start with level 1. Do not move on until the next one until you complete level 1. There are 2 basic scenarios for you and your family when a catastrophe hits. You either bug in, meaning you stay inside your home until the catastrophe is over, or in the other case, you bug out. You leave your home, you leave your city, you leave your town, and find safety somewhere else. There's a customized, layered survival plan. Sure, you could go hardcore from the very start and prepare for long-term disaster day to day, but guess what? As I said, there's a learning curve, and you want to minimize your mistakes. So it's much better to prepare in layers that I'm going to give you starting Monday. I'm going to go layer by layer until starting on Monday. I'm going to give you a layered approach so you do not feel overwhelmed or become overwhelmed with all the information. Layered 1 preparation on Monday. Layer 1 preparation starting Monday. Keeping prepared for the first 72 hours. Okay? Come Monday, that's what we're going to talk about. Guys, as I have said before, get ready. A disaster could happen to you or anyone in your family at any point in time. A disaster could happen to you or your family members at any point in time. Your neighbors, your friends, everybody. Could happen at any time. Be prepared. Don't be scared. Be prepared. Don't be scared. Find meaning in your life. Find meaning for your life. Your life has purpose and meaning. Life on this earth did not happen because of accident. Each one of us are God's children. Each one of us are a child of God. We are here as a part of his plan of happiness. We are here for a reason. God wants you to be happy. There's a time to learn and grow, and time for changes to be made in our lives. We're here for a reason. Here for a reason. Has anybody here wondered why they're here on this earth? Each of us existed before this earth was even created. We lived with God as spirit children in heaven in our spirit form. Our Heavenly Father sent each of us here to earth so we could receive a body and learn and grow and become more like him. As each of us follows God's plan for us, we can one day return to live in his presence again. If you've ever felt you have a greater purpose than simply existing, you're right. You can find your purpose by turning to God, praying and studying the scriptures like we talked about. Praying and studying the scriptures like we talked about. The gospel of Jesus Christ promises peace, promises strength, and promises joy to those who follow God's commandments and follow him. The scriptures teach us that Adam fell that men might be, and men are, that they might have joy. How can our joy be our purpose when life is so full of such struggle? The answer is Jesus Christ. Through Jesus Christ, we can find comfort in our sorrows and be strengthened through difficulties. We can feel gratitude for the many beautiful things that are here for us to enjoy on earth. We can improve our relationships with those we love by living the principles of the gospel that he taught in the scriptures. Compassion, service, forgiveness, and love. By providing a Savior, God created a plan and a path for every one of his children to find joy. To find joy. When we are going through difficult times, it can help us to remember what God's plan is for each one of us. God's plan extends beyond our mortal life. And as you best follow him, as each one of us best follow him, everything we experience will be made right someday through our Savior Jesus Christ. The scriptures promise us God shall wipe away all the tears from our eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither there be any more pain. Revelation chapter 21, verse 4. Yes, life includes painful experiences, because in God's plan there are trials we face. Those trials we face can be for our benefit and also our growth. These struggles can help us gain attributes such as strength, empathy, and patience. When so much is out of control in our lives, including the actions of others, we can do as Psalms 27 verse 14 tells us, wait on the Lord. Wait on the Lord. We can believe anything we suffer unfairly will ultimately be made right through Jesus Christ. Each one of us can change. God has always known that we make mistakes, and we would need help to overcome sorrow and sin. As part of God's plan, He provided a Savior and Redeemer, Jesus Christ, to suffer and die for each one of us, and for every person who has ever lived. Because of Jesus Christ's sacrifice, each one of us can find forgiveness and healing. Forgiveness and healing. A concept. With the Savior's help, we can overcome sickness, weaknesses, sin, bad habits, and addiction that might have held us back. We can become more charitable, forgiving, humble even, and patient than any of us have ever been. As we become more Christ-like in our attitudes, in our lives, we are going to find a greater desire to continue on the path to return to live with God. My prayer for you, my prayer for each one of us, is we might better think of what God has in plans for us. What plan does God have for you, each one of us? What kind of plan does God have for each of us? Find out. Study the scriptures and pray. I'm going to bear testimony of this because I know it's true. After you read the scriptures, get down on your knees and ask God Himself, is what I read not true? I promise you, through the gift and power of the Holy Ghost, you will know the truth of all things. Study, prayer, and more prayer. Study, prayer, and more prayer will get us to where we want to be. Brothers and sisters, I love you. I love you more and more every day. That's why we stay on the air. That's why we stay on the air. I'm not yet willing to give up. I'm willing to persevere. I am willing to stay here and help each one of us survive. Please help support us. Please help support us, guys. I promise you, you will find great guts and wisdom. You'll find wisdom and love, and even skill, to find out what you need to do and how you're going to do it. May God bless you. May God be with you this and always. May God be with you until we meet again. Have a good night, guys. Today is Friday. If something happens tonight or tomorrow or even Sunday, we will be back on there to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Between now and then, please help us help each other by sending us donations to our PayPal account. You've had all day to see our PayPal accounts scroll by on the bottom of your screen. Please help us stay on the air by giving us donation to our PayPal. Also, send us snail mail to 504 Bethel Road, Box 401, Morganton, North Carolina. Zip code here is 28655. God bless you. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Sunday about noon, 1 o'clock. We'll be back on the air with Sunday school class. It's called Come Follow Me, the Savior Said. It's going to be fun, guys. I guarantee it will be interesting. It will be fun. It'll be worth you being there with us. God be with you until we meet again, guys. Have a good night. Take care. It's the weekend. See you soon. Enjoy. Bye-bye.
Here at Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace, we're here to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. We break down the complex, make it easy to grasp and absorb, sharing strategies for safety, the vital lessons you can't afford to hoard, So thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your sub. You're a key part of our growing family, a member of our knowledge club. With every like, every share, and every comment you send our way, our critical message spreads further, helping more people every single day. Together we're stronger and more prepared. That's the truth we all abide. You help us build resilience with nowhere for uncertainty to hide. Your engagement truly inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright. We're always learning, always striving to be better. Bring you the most up-to-date information, no matter the weather. Emergency Management Associates is here for you now and forever, it's true. Keep watching, keep learning, because we truly appreciate all that you do. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.